I actually started gathering parts for the forge over the past several months. So the angle iron brackets, the tube, the plates, I started cutting out. I also picked up refractory cement and KO wool as my insulation. Putting the forge together was actually pretty simple. I looked at several different videos. Any type of metal body. I've seen propane tanks, I've seen square tubes, round tubes. I chose a round tube because I have something else in mind with my forge. It's not just going to be a forge, and you're going to have to kind of keep an eye on extra videos so you can see what happens with this. So I just tack weld the plates on here. I don't want to commit to anything solid just yet because I want to make sure that I'm putting this together properly. Drill the hole into the pipe for the burner. There are tons of videos out there if you want a super detailed version of how this is done. I'm just kind of doing down and dirty right now. Okay, we're going to pause just for a moment because we're going to add the insulator into the forge. Now, what I'm using is commonly known as KO wool. All right, it is a refractory cement fiber blanket. Now, this is wrapped, and this is how it came, which is in this plastic wrap and inside this box. All right, there is a warning. Okay, this stuff is not good. All right, so gloves, respirator, these are the types of things that you want to wear when you're working with the KO wool. So that's why I stopped, just so I caution you before you start messing with this stuff. Keep yourself safe, don't take any risk. Okay, back to your regular scheduled program. Yeah, so cutting up the plastic on the KO wool, very simple, like any other plastic. It was like almost like a compact, like cotton padding. Honestly, if I hadn't seen some videos of them saying how dangerous it was, I probably would not have thought too much about it. But it's a carcinogen, according to some states. So that's why the gloves and the respirator are very important to use when you're working with this stuff. I didn't see anything like working with fiberglass where you've got particles floating in the air, but sometimes you just can't see that stuff. So then I tacked on the other side of the forge body and encased the KO wool into the forge body. And then I don't know, goofy video shot. How's that? So then I was going to add the refractory cement. This stuff was actually really easy to work with. I had a little putty knife, scooped it out, dropped it in, and as you'll see here, it actually spreads really nice. That was probably needing to be my first clue that things were going too well. It smoothed out really nice. I flipped the forge body over, added all the sides, and then I started working on the top of the forge. Put that PVC pipe piece in there to kind of keep the hole open for the burner. And as you'll see here in just a moment, you got the hole ready for the burner, but... Okay, so everything was going really well up until the point where I started using the refractory cement. You see, there are tons of videos on YouTube telling you how to build a forge, and I'm sure I watched a lot of them. And there are so many different ways that people have used to insulate their forges. KO wool, refractory cement, bricks. And so prior to really getting into how to build and insulate my forge, I picked up some KO wool and some refractory cement. One of the common denominators that I found in the videos is that the insulation was usually about 2 inches thick. Well, my KO wool was only 1 inch thick, and so I figured, why not do 1 inch of refractory cement? I think that's where I started having my problem. I may have made the refractory cement too thick, too quick. And so even after 2 days of sitting inside the metal body of the forge, there was an outer crust of the cement and it did start to harden, but as you see, it isn't hard at all underneath that crust. So this is not going to work at all. I wanted to point this out because I made a mistake in not understanding exactly how a material works. Luckily, it's only a minor mistake because as you can see, I can actually remove the refractory cement, leaving behind the unaffected KO wool for the most part, and I've got a plan B. I have a local ceramic supply house here that sells the bricks for kilns. So my plan B is to still use the KO wool, but to utilize the fire brick inside the forge as an additional insulator. So in next week's video, we're going to dial in the insulation, we're going to get the burner started, and we're going to start doing some forging. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. It's greatly appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so now. If you'd like to leave a comment, I'd appreciate that also. I try to get to all of my comments. We'll see you in next week's video.